Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Jock and Jill podcast. This is your boy Guru with your girl Joan Madden. We up in here talking about the Buffalo Bills and the New York Jets game last night on Thursday Night Football. And there was a lot of surprises. You know, that game turned out to be a shootout. I was kind of shocked myself. How do you feel about that game, Joan?
Yeah, I was shocked too. First of all, I wasn't expecting it to be that high. Like that to be a high scoring game, nor a shootout. Wasn't expecting it to come down to the last couple minutes of the game. Like you said, lots of surprises. I wasn't expecting the Jets to amass 500 total yards of offense. Tyrod Taylor, the 3 touchdowns. Of course, he's a dual threat, so it was nice to see him do some scrambling. Nice to see him do some throwing as well. Matt Forte, he tied his career high in the NFL with 3 touchdowns last night. I knew that Matt Forte was going to be good with the Jets because that's the philosophy that Todd Bowles and company have adopted. They definitely want to run the ball and play defense, but I ain't see them 3 touchdowns coming. Of course, Eric Decker was the receiving leader with 126 yards and the touchdown. Marshall, of course, had the injury, which another surprise. I thought that injury was season ending. I mean, it looked a lot worse than it was. Thankfully, it wasn't. And of course, Marshall ended up being one of the heroes in the game last night as well, as the onside kick, he actually recovered the onside kick and gave the Jets the ball back. Another one of the surprises was they called Rex Ryan a defensive genius. And the fact that you allowed Matt Forte, an older Matt Forte, to get 3 rushing touchdowns, for Ryan Fitzpatrick to throw, 378 yards. I just...
300, or basically 3 100-yard receivers.
And 3, right, one had 92 yards. Yeah, that was another surprise. I really did not see that one coming. I'm a little bit concerned for Rex Ryan. But the one thing, though, about the Jets is that they broke their 5-game losing streak. They had lost to Buffalo 5 times. So that means they've gotten swept a couple of seasons against them. And, of course, Buffalo kept the Jets out of the playoffs last year in Week 17. Last night, they definitely played like a team who was just defeated by this team and kept away from the playoffs last year. They also played like a team who surrendered a home win last week, the 1-point win after sacking a quarterback 7 times. I saw a lot of that aggression, like they were taking it out on those two. Like, that stood out to them. Like, this is the team that kept us from the playoffs last year. We owe them. So I saw a lot of that from the Jets last night. And again, them trying to avenge, and it seems like they learned a lot in the past 4 days when they lost to Cincinnati at home. So lots of surprises. Yeah, absolutely. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, man, I like to watch, and look for heroes in the game. So I'll say that, a secret that I was kind of not familiar with was the rookie wide receiver Quincy Enunwa. I want to make sure I get his name pronounced correctly. But he showed up, in a big way for the Jets, in the slot. It seems that they might have found a gem in that receiver, and the Jets, the obvious guys, showed up. Brandon Marshall and Eric Decker, then Matt Forte, of course, and then on defense, Leonard Williams and Muhammad Wilkerson. Those guys really didn't make too many plays tonight, but they did just enough for them to still be able to win the game. They contained LaShawn McCoy from getting off too crazy. So, for what I can say, Tyrod Taylor did throw 3 touchdown passes, but and he wasn't sacked. But we are talking about Tyrod Taylor, the guy who ran a 4.3, at West Virginia. So this
was it Virginia Tech?
Virginia Tech, excuse me.
Okay.
But we're talking about a guy who was compared to Michael Vick, when he was younger. Ran a 4.3 in the 40. So this is is not exactly an easy task to get back there and sack him as a quarterback.
That's true. That's very true. Also, you're praising the Jets defense, and rightfully so. But something that stuck out like a sore thumb to me on their defense last night was Darrelle Revis. We kind of gave him a pass Sunday. Like, okay, that was A.J. Green that ran up 180 yards on him. He's gonna go back to the Darrelle Revis that we're more familiar with, the shutdown corner, Revis Island. But did you see the meme that the internet did last night? I tell you, that internet is ruthless. And take a look at this meme that the internet did last night, with this burnt piece of toast out there just floating in seclusion, with the palm tree on it, talking about some like live shot from Revis Island, or currently this is Revis Island, the burnt pizza toast. When I first saw this meme, the first thing that popped in my head was Toasty, like the old Mortal Kombat days.
Mortal Kombat status.
Heck, yeah. I'm like, wow, Revis, this is what we are now. So the other counterparts of the defense bailed him out. Do you think this is what we saw from Revis the past couple of weeks? Does this concern you? Do you think it's the end of his career? Is it because he's older, injured, this system? What is it about Darrelle Revis?
I think Darrelle Revis then finally settled down, got him a wife. He been eating some pork chops in the off season, and he even came back this season a little bit, fatigued. He can't run with these guys no more, man. Marquise Goodwin, that was the wide receiver who burnt him last night. He burnt him pretty good. Like that was an obvious regular deep ball. A play that he probably would have made 100 times out of 100. When he was in his prime. So I think Darrelle seems to be, like he's just not himself right now. Because just watching that route, it just looks like a routine play that he would have made. So I don't think he's himself anymore. I don't think we're gonna ever see the great Darrelle Revis ever again.
Do you think this is his last year? If he wins the ring, goes to the playoffs or not, is this it?
I don't know if it's his last year. I think that he can give you some pretty good years at free safety, probably. Okay. Free safety or maybe even strong safety. He can tackle. But, he's definitely not, an elite corner anymore.
Interesting perspective there. So, also, as you had mentioned with McCoy, he was pretty much bottled up. But we've seen McCoy's progression go down from like 1,300 yards. He was like the leading rusher in Philly about 3 years ago. Like the whole league. He was the leading rusher in the league. Not AP, but LaShawn Shady McCoy. Then we saw him do like another 1,100 yards the next year in Philly. Of course, that was the last year in Philly. Then he had a Pro Bowl season last year with Buffalo, but it was only like 900 and something yards. And then, of course, he's being contained again. What's up with LaShawn McCoy? And are we seeing him phase out as well?
I don't think so. I think it's the system and the team that he's playing for. I think that Shady is a Warwick Dunn style runner.
Yes,
like if you remember Warwick Dunn, those years in the Falcons with Michael Vick, he's the type of runner that gets up in lanes quickly. So you have to open up holes for him to get loose. And Shady's just not getting all the same opportunities that he was getting in Philadelphia. The offense is not set up the same way. And Buffalo, because Buffalo, if you think about it, how many times have you seen Buffalo with a little scat style running back? Most of the time Buffalo's got guys like Marshawn Lynch. They've got guys like Fred Jackson. These guys who hit the hole hard and
they Carlos Williams.
Right. These are the guys that as the game goes on, you don't want to tackle them. Shady's not that style of back. So I just think this is another instance of a team having a player who doesn't really fit their style of play.
I forgot about Warwick Dunn with Atlanta. That was a great simile there, great comparison. You're absolutely right. Now, also, with this, Rex Ryan, last year in Buffalo.
Yeah, I definitely think Rex is on the way up out of here. Because I don't, like starting off 0-2 obviously ain't the end of the world, but the way they lost this game tonight suggests that they're not a playoff team.
Right.
They were giving up, a lot of deep balls, and if you watched the game last night, you saw where they kept calling it out. Like Ryan Fitzpatrick just kept throwing deep, just kept throwing, fades and putting the ball up in the air.
$12 million. This year, that's what he better do. But anyway, I digress. Yeah.
Right. And Decker. Now, mind you, Decker and Marshall and even the rookie Enunwa. Make sure I get his name correct.
I won't ever say that name tonight. Go right ahead. That's all you, boo.
Those guys, they were making jump balls. They were jumping up in the air and catching the ball, and over Buffalo's corners. Now Buffalo's corners, Darby and Stephen Gilmore and the other one, Robbie, I think is it Robbie something. Like those guys, they all look to be solid in terms of technique. If you watched them, they knew what they were doing. Like Buffalo has a bright future in that secondary, but it's just the matchups against the Jets wide receivers is just not favorable, considering that those guys are all 6'4", 6'3", 6'2". You just it's just a tough thing to match up with, but it doesn't look very good for Rex, and it's unfortunate because he is without two elite front seven guys.
And somebody's suspended as well. With the issues on injury with
Marcel
the rookie.
Darius.
Yeah, and then the suspension. So you're absolutely right. I hope that buys him a little bit of time because I do love myself some Rex Ryan. I mean, this is the child of Buddy Ryan, the late great Buddy Ryan. Of course, unfortunately, he passed over the summer. I love his personality. I love his charisma. I'm gonna tell you what the real reason is. Let me tell y'all for real. I'm gonna break it down to y'all, people listening. This is why Rex losing. It ain't got nothing to do with system changes, personnel changes, new team. It's because he lost that weight. Stay fat. Be healthy. But stay fat. People be winning when they fat. You remember when Ricky Lake came back? She had lost all that weight. When she tried to come back with the little talk show, they didn't like skinny Ricky. They did not like skinny Ricky. They like chubby, happy, plump Ricky Lake. Big Rex went to the AFC Championship 2 years back to back. Look at Luther Vandross. Everybody like Big Luther. They ain't like Little Luther.
Right.
Everybody like the music from Big Luther. Stay big, y'all. Look at the TV show Mike and Molly on CBS. They like Mike and Molly big. All the ratings were great. Then they ended up getting canceled because they both lost that weight.
Right.
Again, stay, be healthy and stuff. But Rex Ryan, he like half the size that he was. He need to put a little bit more of that weight back on. Maybe that'll get his moxie back. And maybe we can go back to the Rex Ryan that we know that ain't going to be 0-2, hot seat, job in jeopardy. I'm going to look at the meme that they put here with the Buffalo Bills diving into the Niagara Falls here. This is pretty darn hilarious. This meme right here. I tell you, that internet is brutal. Then, of course, they got the Rex Ryan Jordan crying face meme at the post conference. I'm going to tell you, they ain't nobody safe. Ain't nobody safe. But I'm telling you, Rex, go back to that gaining a few of them pounds. Again, remain healthy. Put you a little bit more weight on. And we'll get you back to the Rex Ryan that we know. And so, of course, last night's game was a huge AFC East game between those two teams. The Jets are now 1-1. Buffalo's now 0-2. The Jets have had a division game, and they're 1-0 in the division. Of course, the other two teams in the division, Miami and New England, have not played a division game yet. We know New England won on the road in Arizona Sunday night, and then we know that Miami lost in Seattle on Sunday afternoon. But those two teams that remain in the division that did not play last night, they actually face each other on Sunday. That's one of the 1 o'clock games on Sunday, 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time that is. And we're going to decipher. What we're going to do is make our picks here for the Week 1 games. We're only going to talk about the first session of games, the 1 o'clock games. We're going to break those down. We'll come back and give you the rest on Sunday with that breakdown of who we think is going to win. We will go ahead and start off again with the other half of this division. Miami travels to New England. Still Garoppolo. Still no signs of Brady. But this is starting that 3-game home streak that New England has with Garoppolo. So the benefit here is definitely in New England's favor. So is that your automatic pick for this game?
Absolutely not. I think Miami shocks the world like Mr. October. I think that Arian Foster goes out here and gashes the New England defense for about 150 yards rushing. And the Dolphins win this game in a nail-biter, 17-14, Miami.
On the road?
On the road.
With Ryan Tannehill?
With Ryan Tannehill.
And you know Adam Gates, the new coach, this is only his second game he'll be coaching.
I think that watching, when I went back and just looked at some of the numbers from Miami's game against Seattle, it looks like Miami's defense is going to be ready. They played a pretty darn good game against a quarterback that can scramble, and Garoppolo's not quite that guy. I think they get to Garoppolo. He's on the ground quite a bit in this game.
Wow. Well, they do have Sue, the pressure from Sue. But, Sue, what are you going to do? Because you didn't do much of anything last year. What Sue had? About 3 sacks last year? Got that big money like that?
Right.
Yeah, so you're going to have to step up. But the thing is, even though you're saying with Garoppolo not being able to scramble, were you not impressed with what Garoppolo just did in Arizona?
Well, I mean, he did. He played a solid game against Arizona. But then again, we have to remind ourselves that Arizona has been known for stopping the run and has not exactly been known for getting pressure on quarterbacks anyway. So, I mean, we're talking about two different teams. This team, Miami, has compiled. They have Mario Williams on one side and they have Cameron Wake on the other. I mean, Cameron Wake has led the league in sacks a couple seasons. So
that's true.
We're talking about two guys who can come off that edge and can really, change the whole dynamic of the game. So I mean, and then you have Sue in the middle, like you said. What's Sue gonna do? You got Mario Williams and Cameron Wake coming off the edges. Sue's job is gonna be pretty easy, I would say.
Wow, well, you sound very confident and very knowledgeable about this pick, but nonetheless, I'm going to have to disagree with you. Even though I'm not really a New England fan like that, we do know that Tom Brady typically struggles when he goes to Miami, but we don't have either of these factors this game. We have Garoppolo, and we have it in New England. I think that because of the fact that a lot of times I think when you don't have a lot of film on a quarterback, that's like an advantage for the quarterback because you can't really figure him out.
Right.
And we saw what he did against Arizona, but that's all you have. That's really all you have, and this is a different defense that they're facing. Mm-hmm. So, there really weren't many weaknesses from Garoppolo. So you like Miami, when you're looking at this film that you're going against Garoppolo, you can't really pick his weakness to be like, okay, we're going to capitalize on that. Because he really played a solid game Sunday night, and it was on the road, which most quarterbacks on the road, in a dome, a loud, raucous dome like that against that secondary, against that pass rush with Chandler Jones, that they traded, being on the opposite side. He's like an internal scout, bonus for Arizona there. So, I don't know, I just really felt like because he was so composed, and now that he's going back to New England, the confidence of this guy went on the road like that, the team backing him, the fans are going to be backing like, hey man, this is the one game that we were worried about right here, but you did that. So I just really think them coming back home, I don't know. I don't think that New England will really do anything special. I just feel like a lot of chips are in their favor.
And I think that's what plays into Miami's hand is that he's comfortable now. He thinks that he's made it. And if he thinks that he's made it, and he's dead wrong. The NFL, you never make it. You know, you might have a really hot game, and then the next game, you know what I'm saying, people will put you back in your place. I think the Miami Dolphins put him back in his place this week.
Well, I hope so. Again, like I said, I don't want New England to win anything. Not a hot dog eating contest, an arm wrestling match, a spelling bee, hula hoop contest. None of that. So I wouldn't have a problem if Miami won. But just, I have to be objective here. Just on paper, I don't know. I'm really scared to go with Miami. I just really think that, and not to mention, they do still have Bill Belichick. The temperatures might be a little bit too warm for him to bust out the hoodie, which of course he goes into a different type of coach then. It's like the genius, he digs deeper into his genius mode then, but it's too warm for that. I don't know. I just really again, I hope you're right. I really do. I just can't see it on paper, but we split the decision there. I think it will be a close game. I agree with you on that, but I just think that ultimately it will be New England at home. All right, so another 1 o'clock game. San Francisco, Carolina. We haven't seen Carolina play not since the Thursday before, so we haven't seen Carolina play in over a week now. And of course, we saw San Francisco just this past Monday night. Does that play into the advantage for Carolina, or does that kill the momentum? Because, you haven't played in so long, but also San Francisco coming off that huge, colossal win, a shutout. They pitched a shutout. Does that play, who has the advantage with those factors here?
The 49ers beating the Rams isn't exactly, world beaters. I mean, I think that they...
But it's a divisional game. Those always matter.
I mean, they won a game that, they were playing against Case Keenum as the quarterback. I mean...
But Blaine Gabbert was their quarterback. He was like 8-27 as a starter.
Blaine Gabbert didn't exactly do too great either. I mean, if you want to be honest about it, Carlos Hyde was the star in the game. For the 49ers on offense, if we're going to name a star.
You got a point there. This game I fell asleep on because my boys, the Steelers, had won. I had to go to work the next morning.
Right.
So, yeah, that's right. You right. My bad.
Right. And then, the 49ers still have, a few of their AFC, champion players on defense in Navarro Bowman and Ahmad Brooks. Okay. So those players, kind of ignited the rest of the defense, and they, turned that against the Rams, a team who hasn't won nothing since the greatest show on turf. So let's be honest about that. That game really wasn't something that is important or that is really a great accomplishment on the 49ers part.
But I'm going to raise you one when you just said since the greatest show on turf. Remember, that was the St. Louis days. I'm going to raise you one better. The fact that they still had that goose egg for Monday night, that meant the LA Rams hadn't scored any points since 1994.
That's just mind-boggling right there.
Yes, it is.
So if we're gonna talk about who they beat this past week, this year's UFC team or USC team, excuse me, USC team might be able to beat the St. Louis Rams or the Los Angeles Rams.
Now hold on now, because with around these parts, USC, you got to be specific. Are you talking about the University of Southern California? Or are you talking about University of South Carolina?
We're talking about the USC Trojans,
Okay.
the University of Southern California.
Okay, but you wouldn't throw the Gamecocks in there either, though.
Maybe. I'll tell you this: there are a few college programs that could probably beat the Los Angeles Rams right now.
Ouch.
Ooh, ouchie! Wow, that's crazy. So, do you think that San Francisco travels to Carolina, knocks off the NFC champions, and they start 0-2?
Absolutely not. I think Carolina gets back on track this week. Cam Newton goes out there and has a field day. He's sitting down, at about the middle of the fourth quarter.
Oh, okay. Wow. So that big of a lead, huh? That big of a win.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm going to agree with you on the pick that Carolina will win. I think it'll be a little bit closer than that, though. But one of the things, again, when I'm looking at games, wins, and losses, I look at everything. I don't just look at, in between everything on the field. I look at a lot of the outside factors, like who used to, did this coach used to coach there? So he kind of got an inside track. Do they have any players on their team last year that's now with the team that they're about to play? Things like that. I look at stuff like that. So the interesting factor with this game, San Francisco is coming to Carolina. The game's at 1 o'clock. In their mind, it's 10 o'clock. Teams that travel from the West Coast to the East Coast fail miserably. Look at the statistics. It's not a good look for them. So that's the outlying factor for me. San Francisco, you're coming to the East Coast. This is not your realm. This is not your jurisdiction. In your mind, it's 10 o'clock. You're still going to be groggy. You're going to have a little bit of jet lag and stuff. It's going to be a struggle for you. Plus the fact that, Carolina is pissed. Okay, let's just keep that real.
Come on,
yeah, and then you lost to the people that took your ring from you, took the Lombardi from you. And then you start off the season like this, and you ain't played in 10 days. So you've been holding that back because you ready to unleash. So I'm going to go with Carolina for those factors. They do still have the team's reigning MVP. They do still have the coach of the year in Riverboat, Ron Rivera. I'm going to go Carolina. Again, a closer score than you're saying. I think we have to see Cam all the way through, but definitely a home opener win for Carolina. All right, so we also have another divisional game. Baltimore at Cleveland.
Baltimore at Cleveland. I like Baltimore. I mean, I think this is gonna be a game that's gonna get out of hand quite fast as well. I think the Baltimore Ravens probably get up 2 to 3 scores very quickly in this game, and then the Browns, may get some garbage time points to make it look not as bad as it is. But ultimately, I think the Ravens win it and they start the season 2-0.
Interesting. Even though it's in Cleveland.
Even though it's in Cleveland, I think that the Baltimore Ravens have one thing working in their favor. They showed that they have a pretty elite defense.
Right.
Considering that Buffalo just threw up 31 points against the Jets, who had a top 5, defense last season. So, Buffalo just threw up 31 points against the Jets, but they could only score 7 against Baltimore.
That's true, but this is not your Ray Lewis and Ed Reed defense here in Baltimore either. But you still think that they're just going to eat Cleveland up?
I think that Baltimore will contain Cleveland. I mean, they're playing against Josh McCown. They're not playing against RG3. And Josh McCown mind you, Josh McCown did make some plays last season with Barnidge as the tight end. Barnidge ended up having a Pro Bowl year and everything like that. I respect that, but I just don't see how, I do see Terrell Pryor still there, Coleman still there. Some of the guys, Crowell, some of the talent on the Browns offense is still there. But this is the same Browns team that gave up 29 points just last week to a rookie quarterback in Carson Wentz. So I think that Joe Flacco. I mean, we're not gonna jump on that Carson Wentz boat so quickly to say that he's better than Joe Flacco.
Right.
Joe Flacco's better than him. They got Mike Wallace. They got Steve Smith. They got a lot working for them. That's I would say it's a lot better than what's working for the Eagles. I think Baltimore wins this game in a landslide.
But that's your boy Hugh Jackson. You love yourself some Hugh Jackson. You still not tilting a little bit more towards Cleveland, at least a little bit closer, and they're playing at home? No.
I just don't. I love Hugh. I think Hugh's a great offensive mind. He's a wizard, on the offensive end. But I think that it's just the sum of the parts. I don't believe that they have the talent to win to win big this season. I mean, just especially after that game against the Eagles,
Right.
because if you want to be honest, this is the Philadelphia Eagles. A team that was allowing quite a bit of points last season.
Right.
Now
Except their secondary.
right now they did make some replacements in the secondary, and you said you like that secondary this
I
year.
do.
I do think that the Eagles will be a team that will allow some points this year. Again, I just don't think that they've turned into an elite defense that quickly.
Wow. I always give, again, like when we're looking at the some of the other divisional games. I always give, like, divisional games, you're very familiar with this team. You play them twice a year. There's always implications of what it could do for your season as far as, like, with playoffs, who wins the division, wild card, and stuff like that. So I never overlook. It doesn't matter the level of the competition or if you're down to your third string quarterback, whatever. It's still a divisional game. So I don't ever rule that out. Cleveland is playing at home. Of course, that was a heartbreaking loss that they had with RG3 being out on injury reserve or whatever, or 8 to 10 weeks or whatever. But here's the thing. RG3 still hasn't learned how to slide. So he kind of like brought that on himself. And also, RG3 wasn't that potent before he got hurt.
Absolutely not.
So I don't even know if it was so much if RG3 was the make or break. I think it messed with them emotionally that they lost him, and just kind of like, oh gosh, what do we do now? I think that weighed on them, and that's probably why they underperformed against Philly. And again, coming out with a rookie quarterback, this is somebody you don't have no film on. I always consider that, like, what you gonna look at from him from last year? You gonna look at his college note? No, this is a different league. Like, you can't even really use that to compare and to compare a contrast and study someone. So I don't really know if RG3 makes that much a difference. I really think when Josh Gordon gets back week 5, that's going to vastly improve for Cleveland. I think with Camden, I think they'll play it'll be a battle-tested game. I don't see the landslide part that you're saying. Plus, also, they're in Cleveland. I do think that ultimately Baltimore will win, start off 2-0. Cleveland, unfortunately, starting off 0-2. I think it's going to be an intriguing game. And, hey, Cleveland, if all else fails, 2 things. You still got the NBA championship from the Cavaliers, so ride off that momentum. And hey, LeBron, he ain't started playing basketball yet with the team. Maybe he can come be quarterback. All right, fill him in just for a few games, until then, we will definitely put you on the prayer list. Like I said, call LeBron. All right, so let's go on to Tennessee at Detroit. Of course, we know Detroit had a big road win last week, and Tennessee had a big collapse at home. Like, we were expecting them to beat Minnesota with Minnesota playing with Sean Hill, but they fooled us. And like I said, Detroit, we were kind of expecting them to lose on the road to the Indianapolis Colts, especially with Andrew Luck getting that big pay increase. But neither one of those happened. So here we are, Tennessee at Detroit. Who you got in this game, Guru?
I like the Tennessee Titans to bounce back this time and win this game. I think DeMarco Murray and Derrick Henry will go out there and they will, pace this game, slow this game down. They're going to run the ball and wear that defense right on out. And I think that on the defensive side, they'll play some solid defense and keep, the ball, keep the game going at the pace that they needed to go at. I think that Colts game and Lions game was a fast-paced game. There was a lot of passing. The ball was just in the air constantly. I think that the Titans, the style of play that they have with the running game and the defense, that's gonna it's gonna change the pace of the game, and it's gonna cause the Lions to have to change the style of play. I think that they'll get behind, and they I don't believe that their run game will work as good as it worked. Considering that they were playing with house money last week, throwing the ball all over the place. So when your pass is working, then it kind of opens up the run. You can run or open up the pass, or you can pass and open up the run. They had that working in their favor last week when they were passing so well, and it opened up the run.
True.
But I think that this week, they'll be a little bit more, limited because of the style of play.
Gotcha. Now, I want to disagree with you because I just don't see Tennessee going on the road and win this game in Detroit. That dome, they're playing the dome. It gets very loud and raucous in those domes, especially if they have the roof closed, like if there's some rain or something, they have the roof closed. I've been saying this for quite some while. quite a while about Tennessee. I love the changes that they made in the offseason. I love that they went and got DeMarco Murray. I love that they drafted Henry. They went and got Conklin. They went and got Jones. Andre Johnson, of course, the veteran wide receiver, has joined. But I do not like their coach. Like, I just really don't trust their coach to make the correct and effective decisions with such a great personnel, with such a great roster of players. I mean, this is Mike Mularkey, who I affectionately have adopted the name of Mike Murky. His name is really close to Murky. I really think the future in Tennessee is murky with this guy as their quarterback. I don't trust him. I don't believe in him. Like, he was in Jacksonville, one and done, below 500 record. I've seen him in Buffalo in the 90s lose to a team full of backups. I have no trust in the coach. There's nothing about that says inspiring coaching to me, where he's going to make the right decisions to win this game in Detroit. And of course, with Detroit getting that big road win like they did and putting up all those points, I don't know if they'll put up the same amount of points, but it is against Tennessee's defense. So it's very possible that they could have a repeat performance on offense very close to that. So I have to go with Detroit in this. Plus, again, I'm always going to stick to this script. This is very near and dear to my heart. Eric Ebron is from Greensboro, North Carolina. Jim Caldwell was a coach at Wake Forest, which is in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, which is the same city that I got my degree. So a lot of times I root for them because of that. This is one of those times. Of course, if they were playing something a little bit more of a stricter competition, I'd go with the opposition. But I think that they'll be able to pull it out against Tennessee and at home. All right, so Kansas City and Houston. Both of these teams, of course, are 1-0. Houston back at home again for the second consecutive week. And Kansas City on the road this time. Huge, colossal comeback win for Kansas City. I mean, and it was like, here's the Alex Smith that we remember getting drafted #1 overall years ago. This is the Alex Smith that we're like, dang, I can't believe that San Francisco traded this guy. This is the Alex Smith that we've been looking for, that we remember. Right. And the Alex Smith that we were waiting on to come back. This was not Alex Smith, the game manager, last week. This was Alex Smith, the conqueror, in that second half last week. It was really good to see him have that type of performance. Again, he didn't even have Jamal Charles. Spencer Ware balled out. He's down 2 offensive linemen, too. New offensive coordinator. Still got Andy Reid, but there was a lot of adjustments for Alex Smith. So it was really good to see that resilience for him and him to take over as a leader and step up. Do you see much of the same this week in Houston for Alex Smith and the Chiefs?
I think that the Chiefs have the advantage because they know this quarterback. They know Brock Osweiler from the Broncos, so they know how to game plan for him. And that's something that you made a point about. When teams don't have any tape, well they have plenty of tape on this guy.
They do.
So I think that that will be in the favor of the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs will fly high and ball, like Jim Jones said, and they'll win this game this week. I give the Chiefs 10 points.
Wow, a double-digit win on the road.
Yeah.
See, I don't know about that, and you're absolutely right with them having the film about Brock Osweiler because of course, he came from Denver and they played them twice a year in that division. But I'm also looking at that as an advantage for Brock Osweiler, meaning he's also familiar with this defense. And this defense is slightly different with no more Sean Smith, so you don't really have to prepare for Sean Smith this game. Of course, you still have Tamba Ali that you have to worry about, Derek Johnson, those guys. I get that. But I'll take that one, that undermanned, no more Sean Smith. I'll take that. Also, just due to the fact that, the counterparts that he has on defense. Last year he had Malik Jackson and Danny Trevathan, and he got J.J. Watt and Clowney here. Of course, Cushing is out. But he doesn't have a bad personnel on defense to kind of round out and complement the offense as well. The one other thing that Osweiler has is a very young, talented wide receiver that he can connect with. I like him being able to tag team with Hopkins. I think that Hopkins deserved a better quarterback. Of course, we don't know all the way what Osweiler's going to bring it because it's only been 1 week.
Right.
But I think that, hey, he's got a more complete quarterback. I mean, they had a quarterback carousel last year, and it alternated. It wasn't like, we're going to keep this quarterback for 3 weeks. Oh, he got hurt. We got to bring in another quarterback. They were flip-flopping quarterbacks like crazy. There was no consistency. So I think that we'll see a better Hopkins this year as well. And, of course, they now have Lamar Miller with the running game. I like Houston in this one slightly. I think Andy Reid will probably do a better job of coaching. but the home factor, those kind of things, I'm looking at. I like Brock Osweiler. I think he's a decent quarterback. He won't really make a lot of mistakes. I think that Alex Smith will struggle a little bit this game going against the pass rush from those guys, and again being down those two offensive linemen. So I like Houston in a close one at home in this game. All right, so we have the New Orleans Saints traveling to the New York Giants. That's an interesting game. I haven't seen much of them face off against each other.
Right. Yeah, I can't recall, too mmany Eli Manning versus Drew Brees matchups.
Me either. I mean, I know Eli, of course, growing up down in that area with Archie Manning and stuff, playing for the Saints years ago. But yeah, I don't recall many of these matches not in the playoffs or anything like that. Not much if there has been anything. But that's okay. We do get to see the matchup between these two teams on Sunday. So who you got in this one?
The New York Giants are a more complete team. I'm going to take the New York Giants to win this game. I like the Saints to go 0-2 starting the season.
That's tough, that the Saints would possibly start 0-2. I'm going to definitely concur with you. I love me some Drew Brees. And I love me some Sean Payton. But the thing is, neither one of them play defense. And they're not Sean Payton's known for his offense, with him being on the staff in Dallas, him and Drew Brees just having that tandem together. This is an offensive guy. And until New Orleans returns to that form of the 2009 defense that they had with Greg Williams as coordinator, with Jonathan Vilma, all that. Of course, there was a controversy with the bounty gate. But still, that was a ferocious defense. That's the type of defense. That's what helped them win the Super Bowl. Hello. And until they return to that form on defense, I expect New Orleans to be second and third class in the NFC South for quite some time. Drew Brees is not going to be able to continue to carry this team. Also, he's getting older, and he having more youngins. So, he been running around the house after the kids, so his energy kind of burnt. He ain't got the same type of legs he used to. He can run around the house after a bunch of toddlers and pumping and sweating and making more. Not saying anything's wrong with that. What I'm saying, though, is, that's supposed to take a toll out. Plus, he might want to start getting into the mode of, I just want to be home with family. I'm ready to just hang it up. So I don't think we'll see the Drew Brees that we once saw. Of course, he's going to still put up those numbers. He has excellent receivers. Cook, Snead. I think we'll see Kobe Fleener, do decent this week as well.
Mike Thomas.
Yeah, Mike Thomas as well. But New Orleans just does not have the defense for this. And then the Giants, with all the money that they spent on defense, hello. I think that they're going to disrupt Drew Brees. Drew Brees is a little video thing, and just like New Orleans is below sea level, so is Drew Brees. So I really think that this pass rush is not the pass rush that we remember with Michael Strahan, Justin Tuck, O.C. Manura, Matthias Kiwanuka, of course, a part of that front seven. It's not that same defense, but I think they do enough to throw Drew Brees off of his game plan.
JPP?
I forgot. Yeah, JPP, that's right. Let's give a hand. Let's give it up for JPP getting that contract. Yeah, let's give that man a hand. Yeah, so you're right. Yeah, JPP coming up off of that 2.5 stance, that 2.5 point stance. It's not quite a 2-point stance in him, with the hand can't really quite, it's not quite a 3-point stance. Yeah, he got a 2.5 point stance. Yeah, I think he will come off the edge and be able to disrupt as well. I just don't think New Orleans will be able to put up enough offense to compete with this. Plus, we saw an emergence of Eli Manning turnovers going down past couple years. Victor Cruz, it's nice to see him in the slot. Him coming back last week against Dallas. Of course, they still have the ODB kid. And Jennings is running the ball like he is. So, yeah, I don't think that New Orleans will have enough to sustain. And the Giants will ultimately win at home and go with a 2-0 undefeated start. All right, now, this game, we've been waiting on this game since January. Here it is, September. So if you got pregnant in January, you can understand the anticipation. Like, you ready for that baby? You got another month for that baby? That's how we feel about this particular game here. This is Cincinnati at Pittsburgh. We have been waiting on this game since January. The way that game ended, seriously. And these two teams, this is started becoming an intense rivalry. Of course, there were years that Cincinnati was not as successful as they have been these past 5 years or so. They've won the division 2 out of 3 years, including eliminating Pittsburgh from some of the hopes and stuff that they had, where it was just automatic that Pittsburgh would sweep Cincinnati. Long gone are those days, honey. So here we go. That playoff game last year, like, it seemed like yesterday, but at the same time, it seemed like 5 years ago because we were waiting. All the penalties that kicked, Joey Porter involved. It was raining that night. It was just really a crazy, bizarre sequence to end that game. But here we are. We got the game now on Sunday. Who are you looking at to win this game?
I am going to take the not-so-favorite pick. I'm going to take the Cincinnati Bengals to win this game. I like the Cincinnati Bengals to win this game. I think that they're going to play ball control. They're going to run Jeremy Hill and Giovanni Bernard. I think that A.J. Green is a mismatch for any corner or any secondary player that the Steelers have. I like the defense from Cincinnati. I like the savant as a head coach, Marvin Lewis. I think that the Cincinnati Bengals get it done this time. I think that Vontaze Burfict said nobody cares about the Steelers. Burfict proves it this week by going out there and playing well, and the Cincinnati Bengals knock off the Steelers by 3.
Well, no surprises there. I knew that you were going to pick Cincinnati. I mean, that's your division pick. Them your boys. Other than your real boys, it's like, he all over this Cincinnati thing. I don't know why, but we'll let him have his way, and we will bless his heart nonetheless. But Cincinnati on the road in Pittsburgh too. See, that's the thing. Pittsburgh had to go to Cincinnati. They got that win in Cincinnati. Pittsburgh is going to, like, they're already mad at how we ended. Plus, they got the win. They come back home off a huge Monday night win. And the fact that they're playing a division rival at home, and it's the home opener, I don't know. I don't see it. D'Angelo Williams been eating. And I still do not fully. I know that Andy Dalton threw 366 yards last week, even though I thought that he was going to crumble like a cookie. New offensive coordinator, no Mohamed Sanu. He's gone in free agency to the Falcons, no Marvin Jones. He's gone to Detroit in free agency. Tyler Eifert, the injuries with him. I think this is the game. The game that I've been talking about where I think Andy Dalton's going to struggle, I think this is the game that he does it. We're too familiar with him. And even though they do have A.J. Green, we're not going to have a Darrelle Revis on us. Absolutely not. I think that Ryan Shazier is going to make some plays. Definitely James Harrison is going to make some plays. I think we're going to mask the issues in our secondary. Because that's the thing. The secondary has definitely been our Achilles heel. But I think our front seven is going to kind of mask some of that. Buy some time. Cover up those blemishes and those mistakes to make us look a little bit stronger. And I think this is the game that Andy Dalton will struggle against my boys. And plus, whatever offense that they're putting out, we can match them. Hello. I mean, even though we're missing some personnel for suspensions and injuries and things of that nature, I think that if it turns into a shootout, we will outlast Cincinnati. Definitely don't give us the ball last.
I think that y'all will not have a 100-yard rusher this game. I'm almost certain about that. I think that D'Angelo Williams will not be able to run on Geno Atkins coming up the middle. They have Carlos Dunlap and Michael Johnson on the outsides. Those are oversized defensive ends that contain the run very well. I think that Geno Atkins, that was like when he went out last season, the Bengals defense, went down a little bit.
Yeah,
So now that he's back healthy, you can see an immediate difference. I think that D'Angelo Williams will get gobbled up like the Cookie Monster going up in that middle. When Geno Atkins in there, I think that so Ben's gonna be throwing 50 times this week.
That's fine, and I think we'll pass all over them. I really do, because y'all. Well, I'm saying y'all. I forgot because this is your second team. That's why I just automatically said y'all. But your other boys, they lost Leon Hall in the secondary. The defense is older. And little Ricky that they got, we're gonna tear him up. We're gonna eat him alive. Because he was really supposed to be ours anyway. But of course, Cincinnati, for a shady move, and drafted. What's his name? Jackson? No,
William Jackson.
Yeah, William Jackson. The story. William Jackson was actually supposed to come to us in the draft with the number 25 pick. Cincinnati picked 24, and they picked him. I mean, even he was surprised because he thought he was going to Pittsburgh. We went and got Artis Burns from Miami, which is still a great compensation, but that wasn't who we were really supposed to pick. So we owe Cincinnati for that too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's really gonna miss us in this game. So yeah, I just really think that Ben throwing the 50 times, as you alluded to, that's fine. I think he's going to connect. We got AB back, which of course we lost AB in that particular game. You know he gonna want to show off. Shoot, Hines Ward eligible for Hall of Fame this year. We might even do this for Hines. You know, Hines messed up Keith Rivers' jaw that time, got a rule. Like, all of that. We just going to run off of all of that adrenaline there. Like, we doing this for Hines on Sunday. That's why Hines, we're going to get this. We're going to dedicate this win to you. I'm looking at Pittsburgh. Close game. You know, the division game was always tight. I'm looking at like a 3 or 4 point game. And again, if we have the ball last, we're going to go ahead and get it done. So, the last game on the docket, again, we're only talking about the 1 o'clock games. For this particular segment, we'll come back to you with the 4 o'clock games, the Sunday night game, and also the Monday matchup. But the last 1 o'clock game on the docket, another huge divisional. I love divisional games. Oh my God, I love divisional games. Of course, I know that we can't have all of them every week. What kind of food am I in enough to go around? But I love me a divisional game. We got the Dallas Cowboys visiting the Washington Redskins. So Washington essentially could, they might go 0-2 at home. They could, right?
Very well, very very well could, but I don't like them to go 0-2 in this game. I like them to come out here and make the Cowboys go 0-2. I think that the Redskins come back, you know, with their running game and their offense is playing, you know, with Deshaun Jackson and Jordan Reed. A few of those guys showed up pretty well on Monday Night Football against the Steelers. So I think that they come out here this time and they do the job. And Ryan Kerrigan, a few of those guys on defense who weren't able to get the Big Ben, they will be able to cause the rookie quarterback for the Cowboys, Dak Prescott, to make some mistakes. I think that the Redskins win this game by 2 scores.
That big?
I'll say not 2 scores as in 2 touchdowns.
2 field goals or something.
Well, no. I'll say 10.
Wow, I thought it was gonna be a closer game than that. One thing, I mean, I'm gonna agree with you. I really think that the Redskins do bounce back. That was an embarrassing, dismantling loss that they had. I mean, 38-16. That was a lopsided. Like, even though I'm a Steelers fan, I felt like we were gonna win. Again, I know how to be very objective. I thought it was gonna be a way closer game. There were actually a couple of times I was concerned, but I knew that I felt confident like we will pull this out. But I was concerned a couple of times, you know. And I think that the Redskins are gonna straight up a lot of personnel they have. I mean, you gotta put Josh Norman on the best receiver. You have to. And history has shown, you know, of course, Deshaun Jackson, he's been with the Washington Redskins organization for a couple of years now. But he played in Philly. So then he played Dallas twice a year too. Deshaun Jackson has always had success against Dallas. No matter what uniform he was wearing. It's just something about he just matches up well with him. He just has a field day against Dallas. And I think that continued this year. Kirk Cousins, make sure that you let this man continue to flourish against Dallas. All you gotta do is give him the ball, because he's gonna do work. This is the Cowboys that we're talking about. So let that man do work. Let's go ahead and get y'all to rebound and go to 1-1. Dallas could essentially start off 0-2, and I agree with you on that. They are still playing with a bunch of rookies. I do like Dak Prescott. I think he's gonna be fine this year. You know, he really didn't make a whole lot of mistakes against the Giants, other than he didn't have any touchdowns. Right. He threw the ball 45 times. Right. That's too much for a rookie. Right. Especially when what you did in free agency, you still have McFadden, right, and you went and got Alfred Morris, and you went and drafted a running back. So why didn't you utilize them? I mean, like, so you got to do better. And the game was close, so it's not like you had to do a whole bunch of fast passing to get back in the game. That game was close. So you should have kept running the ball. Right. Dallas has to do that this week. You have to have that balance. That rookie quarterback needs that. Him throwing the ball 45 times again cannot happen. And even if it does happen or it doesn't, Dallas will not win this game. It'll be Washington. I think it'll be a little bit closer than you said. Maybe another 3 or 4 point game, something like that. But I would definitely agree with you that Washington wins. All right. So again, this is kind of part 1 of the breakdown of the games. Just talking about the 1 o'clock games. There are a lot of divisional games that we talked about there, though. Right. And we'll get back with you guys on Sunday and give you our breakdown of the 4 o'clock, the night game for Sunday, and the Monday night game. So, you want to tell the good people what you got going on? How can they find you on social media, all that good stuff?
Absolutely. You can find me on coldcoffeetv.com, or you can find us at Cold Coffee TV on Twitter, Cold Coffee TV on Facebook. This is your boy Guru, you know what I'm saying? Check us out.
Absolutely. And feel free to take this post, share it, any questions or concerns you have, if you disagree with us, or if we're wrong, you want to throw it up in our face, hit us up. Put us on blast. We'll talk about it as well. We're very humbled, and we take all the constructive criticism. Bring it on. Let us know. Again, just share it. Support us. We appreciate it in advance. And of course, I'm Latasha Miles, a.k.a. Joan Madden, the Gridiron Goddess. I can be reached on Twitter and IG under the name, my Twitter and IG handle is @she_SPN. Again, that's @she_SPN. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, which is SheSPN, the network. And also on Facebook, which I'm very, very active in, is Latasha Joan Madden Miles. We also do fantasy. We have a fantasy breakdown for you. We'll give you some fantasy advice. You can check that out on Sunday as well. And also the thing about Guru, any cinematography needs that you have, directing, photos. Again, this guy's very modest, so I'm going to put him on blast. Anything like that. When you go to the Cold Coffee TV, ask him for that. He's very creative. His availability is very flexible, willing to help. So hit him up for that too. We'll take care of all your needs. We just don't know football. We got some talent here. We got some creativity. We can make things happen. If somebody's struggling in school with a paper, I can cover you there. If you need some help with resume and cover letter, I got you on that. Yeah, we're gonna monopolize, let you know. We got you in all angles. We're gonna get you your football, your fantasy, all your creativity. You need some help with need somebody to take some pictures at your wedding. He got you. Again, you got a paper that's due. School's back in session. Hit me up. We're gonna take care of you guys. All right. So be sure you keep supporting us, keep showing us love, share everything that we have going on. Subscribe to everything that we have going on. All of that stuff costs $3.99. Okay? When you ask for money, you want support, share, like, comment, $3.99. That's how much that stuff costs.
Absolutely. Don't get caught stealing boxes on your day off.
Ain't that's the truth? You better say that. So yeah, continue to support us. We'll be back with you guys again later on this week. Thanks again for tuning into the Jock and Jill Show podcast, episode number 2. And we're out.